The major overarching theme of this video is that of discretion. But before I get into that, I do need to give you all the proper context for what you're about to see. I want you all to understand that the protesters that you're going to see have been protesting 24/7 in the same location. And most of what they talk about is this Occupy Together movement. They're getting their news from the freshest sources on the internet, rather than anything editorialized. It's very fresh in their minds that hundreds of people were arrested on the Brooklyn Bridge as part of the Occupy Wall Street movement. It's very fresh in their minds that 100 people were beaten and arrested in Boston. It's very fresh in their minds that people were arrested for trying to close their accounts at Citibank. It's very fresh in their minds that women were pepper sprayed in the face for no reason. These viral videos have all been seen on these protesters' cell phones, and that's all they really care about right now is this movement. That's why they're there 24/7. It's also very fresh in their minds that police in riot gear broke up a peaceable assembly in Denver, in the middle of the night, and 23 people were arrested. And I don't think that the population at large really realizes the context of how these protesters know this news, and a lot of people who disagree with them don't. They might know about the story in Denver with 23 people getting arrested, but by and large, anyone who stops by this protest does not really even understand that hundreds of people have been arrested in New England over this. They just haven't heard. So, on to the theme of discretion. These protesters live in a state where the federal government will send the ATF into raid on dispensaries for medical marijuana, even though the state law says that those medical marijuana dispensaries are legal. So what we have there is federal law trumping state law. That is a very major theme here, is which trumps which. Because previously on my channel, you have seen video of a police officer trying to explain city ordinances to the protesters about which tents constitute camping and which canopies don't, and what exactly will get someone cited for the camping ordinance when they are trying to protest and assemble peacefully as they're allowed to by their constitutional rights. But these city ordinances are being presented as something that can trump the constitutional rights, that are given to them on a federal level. So there is a bit of hypocrisy in the way laws are being enforced on these protesters, many of which support the medical marijuana thing on the side, as well as everything in the Occupy Together movement. So that is the police discretion. When a policeman is given a complaint, he doesn't really have to arrest anyone. How many times have you seen it be the case that a policeman says, well, I think I can let you go with a warning just this once, That's police discretion. When a cop pulls over a hot blonde and decides to not give her a ticket, but pulls over a guy in a sports car and gives him a ticket. Police discretion. Um, Now, I decided with my own discretion that some of this footage was going to just die on my computer. I was holding off on putting out this footage because it was explained to me that a certain portion of the Colorado Springs Police Department were actually doing their best to use their discretion to help these protesters express their freedom of speech. And then it became apparent that that was not the case. So I am now putting out this video footage for people to see. And this happened over a course of days. And some of this footage you will see has been previously put on my channel with portions edited out. The portions that had to do with the homeless ordinance team being used by the city of Colorado Springs to try to pester protesters, pretty much in an effort to get them to quit their occupation. So there's nobody that is homeless and camping there. They are protesting and occupying, which there have been many court cases about this before, setting the precedent for it. Even setting the precedent for it is the fact that the city council members have told them before that, oh, well, you can just do it for tonight or a few nights until we talk, and until we mull it over. Well, those nights were a precedent, so the first bit of footage that you're going to see is from a day when I was told that there were plainclothes police officers in the crowd when we were assembling to do a march. Those plainclothes police officers then started posting the homeless ordinance from the city about camping all around the park. And one of the things that they were doing was, pinning these pieces of paper that weren't laminated into trees. And it's a very petty thing to be calling out a police officer for, killing a tree or creating litter because that flyer is about to, be destroyed by the weather and pretty much end up in the gutter. It's a very petty thing to walk up and accuse officers of littering when they're putting up ordinances and posting them in that manner. But try to see it in the context of the pettiness of using the police homeless ordinance team to pester the protesters. It's on the same level somewhat to me. And it's not like I'm trying to deprive someone of their freedom of speech when I'm being that petty. But I did realize that, it's trite, it's small. But the first part of the footage you're going to see is me and Pikes Peak Ocean, another YouTuber, walking up to these police officers and asking them about why they are posting this ordinance. Then you're going to see these protesters that were assembling for this march, half of them chanting shame on these police officers for bringing this ordinance out. But then you're going to see that these police officers go right to certain members of the crowd because they had actually been working with some of these protesters. Then you're going to see footage of a General Assembly where it was explained to us that those particular officers had been working with them and had never cited anyone for the ordinances that they were posting. They had never arrested or given a fine at all to any homeless person for these offenses, which is going to be very interesting if any protesters actually get a fine or jail time for breaking these ordinances, because they would be the only people to have ever gotten punished by these ordinances. No homeless people, no people camping on public places, just protesters occupying. Then you're going to see footage from the next day when the same police officers came back to give tickets, warning citations to people for the camping ordinance that they were posting around. And, you know, I felt like kind of an ass when it was explained to me that they had actually been working with the protesters at the General Assembly the night before. I really did feel like, you know what, I'm not going to put out this video footage of them walking around doing little petty things like littering, you know. I'm not going to do that. And then they came back after lulling the protesters into this false sense of, oh, they're working with us, and they came back writing citations. So, yeah, all this footage is going out now. And I think you all have the proper context to understand all of the footage that you're about to see. So they just put these signs up?
Yeah, they just put it up about 2 minutes ago, really.
Okay.
Just put that one up and then they put one down
Yeah.
the corner and they're working their way around.
I like how they've highlighted the word camping when this is occupying.
Yeah.
And it's completely different.
And they consider camping storing personal property.
Keeping or storing personal property. Well,
Use of camp stove or
yeah.
heating source.
They act as if we haven't seen this before.
Yeah.
You know?
So apparently they don't want anyone staying warm.
Yeah, you can get a copy of the entire city code online, you know. They don't need to be littering. And why would you put a sign up with a thumbtack on a tree?
Yeah.
You know, when the forecast is for rain, you know. Real smart, hot team. So, Ed, what do you think about the hot team posting up ordinances about camping when there's no one camping here? They're occupying.
They're trying to break up the protest.
And then they're using paper that isn't laminated. They're using thumbtacks going into the live trees.
They're littering.
So they're littering and they're killing the trees in the public park.
That's right.
You know, none of these protesters, this giant group of protesters over here, would ever do such a thing. In fact, you've never seen a sign touch a tree in any of the videos that I've taken.
Nope.
We haven't made one yet.
Yeah, but if it means getting rid of protesters, the hot team,
yep,
they're willing to kill a tree.
Yep.
Multiple trees.
Yeah, multiple trees. They're going all the way around the park.
Right now they're on that side. They were just...
Sir, why are you sticking thumbtacks into live trees?
Posting the signs.
Posting the signs? Why are you pasting paper signs when the forecast is for rain?
Yes, you are. Nobody here is homeless.
Couldn't those signs be laminated? They're just going to turn into litter. Do you mind telling me who ordered the signs be posted?
The police department.
The police department? That's it? Okay.
They're here to break up the protest.
Yeah.
The rich people don't like us being here, so that's why they sent them down here. Broadmoor sent them. Yeah! Yep. By order of the Broadmoor, Mayor Steve Bach and the Colorado Springs Chamber of Commerce. They've sent these men to try to break up our protest.
Yeah.
Shame! 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 Shame!
That's great. Another protester dog.
Why are they
I haven't seen Jason. Does anybody know?
I've seen him.
Notice? Is that what's going on? Or?
They're posting camping ordinances, even though they've been, yeah,
These are,
and it's been explained to them multiple times.
Yeah, these tents here, according to City Council,
Yeah,
were considered.
yeah,
They're not tents. These are canopies that are protecting our booths.
yeah. You know what's not protecting their signs? Anything. The next rain is going to wash them off. They're going to become litter.
Yeah, and if they're really thumbtacked with paper, they're probably just
Yeah, thumbtacked to live trees. Have you ever seen a protester put a sign on a live tree?
They might tie it to the tree, but they never puncture the tree.
I haven't even seen them tie it.
Oh, yeah, no, I just know there wasn't.
This is our talking football. I'm just going to go over a couple points. We got a great day today, great crowd. Once I'm done, we have a little open forum. So if anyone, this is our movement. It's a leaderless movement. So you guys are all welcome to suggestions, questions, comments, etc. First and foremost, we are a peaceful movement. Every day that we are out here, we are peaceful. We are respectful. Jumped in on that little chant there because we are trying everything we can to work with the city of Colorado Springs right now. We've invested, myself and some of the other organizers have invested a lot of our time into this. So anything derogatory, we don't welcome. If you want to chant at cops, chant something positive, please. That's what we ask. Talk to them, engage them, they're people. I just had coffee with them. They bought my coffee. We had a nice talk. I'll continue on that note. Here's what where we're at with them. As many of you know, I approached the police. I set up a meeting, and Haas and Christy and I attended it. You guys can all view it on YouTube if you haven't seen it yet. I'm sorry. I think so. It is posted to our site as well on Facebook. In doing so, the police basically shut us down. It was a waste of time, the meeting. So we went another route through City Council. Now we have support of a couple of councilmen that are trying to work with us. The hot team was a little early. We didn't expect them until Monday. We weren't prepared. I walked up from doing radio, and here they were. So I did my best. I went and sat down with them. We are chatting with them right now. I guess when one of the wars started, there was a huge protest here, occupation, right up the road here by CC. They're actually going for us right now to talk to this property owner and see if maybe to appease everyone involved, if we can use that property. It's very visible. We're still downtown. None of us want to go to court. And at this point, that's where we're standing. The reason we we don't want to go to court is it takes focus off of what we're doing here. We don't have time to do that. We can use our time much more productively for the movement. And again, all I ask, I just want to stress this point, for the next few days, please, 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 let's watch our P's and Q's. There is a time to speak your mind and to say, you know, okay, this is just crap, for lack of a better term. We're not there. We are still trying everything we can to cooperate and make this a coexistence that's peaceful. Please reinforce us in that. We're all in that. We're all us when I say us. So, the other thing, let's see. Oh, okay. I was on conservative radio this morning, and I'm a bit conservative. I took a lot of bashing on conservative radio. The first show, Trevor is a great guy. He's very supportive of our movement. The second show, they're a little more iffy. I believe I did change their attitudes while I was there, and I believe I probably changed a couple of the callers' attitudes, I hope. That being said, and there's a couple issues we're going to address in private on this, they came out and they did interviews with a couple people, and these interviews look really, really bad. Really bad. One of them even breaks the law, and that could pose problems. So these are things, again, that we'll address in private, but I'm just stressing that's a tough crowd to win over. And when I got in my car and was driving away, I got a call from Trevor, the first host, telling me how impressed he was at me changing conservative minds. I want to keep changing everyone's mind until they realize this is the American movement. It's not the right movement or left movement.
You both the right and your left hand to pick up something that's heavy.
To do that, we have to be respectful to everyone. We are all people, and in the grand scheme of things, we're not very far apart on our issue.
Amen. Mic check? Yep. I want to thank everybody for being here today. I want to thank all the people that stay out here at night, who have to figure out how they're going to stay caffeinated so they don't fall asleep, so it's not a camping violation. I want us to all realize that, as the showman is saying, it's about the right and the left. It's about right and wrong. Right now, we're looking at a time when both right and the left have problems, and they're the same problems. We're wondering where things are going. They're going to the same place. We've been divided by the people at the top who are running both the elephant and the donkey to keep us going at one another so that we don't notice that it's really them, while we're worried about football and about presidential elections, about American Idol, while they're taking your pensions, while they're taking your homes, while they're taking our lines of credit for our small businesses so they can pay their employees and so they can pay their health care compensations. While we're looking at day and age, probably nobody here has good health care. Probably nobody. I'm here because I have a 7-year-old child who's $46,000 in debt because we gave bailouts to the banks, because we gave bailouts to financial institutions that traded in exotic financial products that were based on quantum theory, literally with credit default swaps and derivatives. And that cost us, our children, and our grandchildren, and possibly their children, a good chunk of their future. America used to be something. It used to mean something to be an American. And I'll be gosh darn if I'm going to let it not mean something now. We can't be afraid to be out here because we're worrying about what people are going to think about us. Because there's a lot of people who think what we think, but they just think we might be weirdos. And we're not. I'm a hardworking American. I have a job, but I'm out here because I know a lot of other hardworking Americans that don't have jobs, that want to work, and there's not enough jobs to go around. I'm tired of people saying that, hey, go get a job delivering a pizza. How many pizzas can be delivered?
Really?
Actually, this showman's back.
Real quick.
Anyway, we are the 99%.
And so are
be faithful
you.
to what you do, be articulate, be good, be peaceful.
When the hot team was here and I squashed that, what I considered a negative thing going on, the second one I just walked away from, there was a comment made, and I don't know who made it, about me being the leader. I'm not the leader. I'm not the leader. Let me clarify that one more time. I am not the leader. All of you guys are. You guys see me on TV, you see me in the press. There is a core group of people who are here almost every day. I am part of that. For the last 15 years of my life, I've done interviews on both TV and radio. The reason you guys see me as the face is because I've done interviews on TV and radio. The other reason is, in a movement like this, especially right now in the beginning in Colorado Springs, we must have a centralized message. If we don't have a centralized message, the media can just pick and skew however they want to. Love you, media. That being said, I know there may be some animosity toward me. And believe me, I'm not here to push my agenda. I'm only doing something I was asked to do, and I'm doing my best at it. If there's, you know, the media comes around and interviews everyone. I don't try to hog the camera. They call me for interviews. I can't help that. And again, the group that is here all the time, every day, that are the, you know, people working with the city and people working with the police, we know, you know, we talk constantly, so we know what's going on, and it's nothing personal against anyone, but the main interviews we want to keep amongst ourselves for a very good reason. If anyone, please, we're all open people that you see running around. If anyone takes issue with this, please come address us. Don't get mad, don't get a chip on your shoulder and think that I'm trying to push some other agenda, because I'm just here for all of you guys, and I'm just doing what I can, what I know how to do. Hopefully I'm doing a good job. If not, I'll keep working on it.
I just want to say one thing. Okay? The reason I did that, and I'm not going to say it was right or wrong, but last night, Mayor Bach of Colorado Springs made a false accusation towards us. Mayor Bach had accused us of urinating on the sidewalk. We all know that this isn't true. Okay? Also, the lie was told that they would be here Monday, and they showed up today. The city is lying to us, okay? And that needs to stop, okay? That's something that does need to be
Can I
addressed.
just throw something in real quick?
That's all I was going to say.
And I agree, 100%. No one's out here at nighttime peeing on trees. I've driven 4 miles to go use the restroom at 3 in the morning. So, that being said, this is a perfect example of why right now we really have to be civil. The hot team right now, you know what they're doing? They're calling Mayor Bach saying, hey, can Jason come sit down with you and have a meeting? Did the police do that? The police didn't do that. So we need to show respect to everyone, because you don't know who's here to hurt us, who's here to help us. And really, in a grand scheme, it doesn't matter, because we're all people. So you need to show equal respect to everyone, whether you agree or disagree with what they're doing. Those guys there, they're just doing their job. They have a family at home. We talked, you know, they want to come protest. We talked about them getting their pay cut, you know, getting their pensions sold away. They're not happy either. So you need to keep that in mind, you know. That's all we ask.
Cops are 99% too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I agree with what you said. Okay, my mother used to be a police officer, so I do not have any hatred towards the police. There has been demonization of the homeless, which is something that I addressed a couple of years ago. Okay? Those guys were involved in demonizing the homeless. And now, I feel, okay, and somebody, you know, I've got to be convinced otherwise. I feel that they were here today to demonize us, and I don't like it. Okay?
They're
now,
here
I'm not going to, you know, physically fight with anybody, but, you know, I would never advocate that. But I had to speak my mind.
Give this fellow the ball, because he knows him well.
Well then, I'm Steve Bass, if anyone doesn't know me, and I think that there probably are a few around here. I have worked with the homeless and anybody else who wanted to stand in my line for about 27 years in this town, giving away free food. I know those guys. Right now I'm getting word, in fact, Brett and Dan and those guys from the hot team told me that they're getting a lot of phone calls from the homeless who are still camped out, and that they're kind of disgruntled with the fact that we have been, in fact, in violation of the ordinance. We've got tents set up over here. That's the way the ordinance reads, and they want to know why we can do this and they can't. and I have the same question. This is, you know, it's separate matter from Jason's, and I can only speak for my own self on that. I think that those folks down there have every bit of right to live, and that they've only got the option between public and private property. They don't have any money, they can't get on private property. They're either stuck down there, or else we've got to lock them up and pay for them out of our tax money that is already going to things that we don't want it to go to in the first place. Now, about the hot team, if anyone doesn't know those guys, they're very fine gentlemen, they're very compassionate. They were involved with setting up the original ordinance, which I still think is a bad ordinance. This is just me. But they have not written a single ticket in this town since that ordinance was passed. The reason being that they've gone out of their way to personally help out whomever it is that they've dealt with who has been camped out down in the creek bed or wherever else in town. They're good guys. I think they've got a bad ordinance and they're kind of in a bad position. Jason was talking about how we're not camping, and I kind of disagree. I was camping myself last night right there on the tree lawn in a tent. I've read the ordinance, I've talked with those guys. It violates the ordinance, and I'm well aware of that. And I may well be the first guy in town to have a ticket, because they've not written any tickets. And I'm not, you know, I'm going to give some thought to what Jason was saying, and I'm not convinced that I'm not going to continue to camp on public property until this thing finds its way to a courtroom. There you have it. I might point out also that if anyone is of that same mind, and I don't know, I'm not promising that I'm going to continue to do it, but if we continue to camp here, somebody's going to jail. If you are going to take that position, you may want to label whatever stuff you have so that it doesn't get lost in the shuffle, etc. And just be aware that this is a potential, and you know, if it takes place, why I'll probably be there.
Yeah, that's good.
This lady wants. Yeah.
I caught it! I caught it! Miracle! Miracle!
Go Detroit!
Folks, how many would like to have some questions asked of our very heavy-duty supporters that are right close by, who have office space? And there's a fella named Scorman who was urging people yesterday to come out and join us.
All right.
And there's a fella who's worked with us forever with his office parallel, right across the street, Petty Corner. How many would like to start looking into some warm places to stay, toilets handy, and they're hoping and expecting us to just go bye-bye when the weather gets cold. But guess what?
What?
No!
No!
And folks, one last thing. There are many good cops, including some of the hot teams,
Amen.
who have to follow orders. Guess where the orders come from?
Where do the orders come from?
Strong mayor?
Super Fusion Center of the Country, it's called.
Really?
Colorado Springs gives the orders to 72 or more fusion centers, with the government operatives telling local authorities what to do and how to do it. Colorado Springs was one of 2 cities in the world that tear-gassed peaceful, absolutely peaceful peace demonstrators in 2003, including little children. And in 2007, go online and check the St. Patty's Day Parade in 2007. Elizabeth Finnerman was pulled in the streets, even though she had a permit to be in the parade, until she was bloody and raw. And guess what? Some good cops have opened up to me and filled me in. This is not what they're all about. They're being given orders. So let's wake up and take off the blinders, folks.
Amen!
Now I have to throw it.
You got it, you got it! You do it!
I would just like to say one thing, that at the heart of the inequality in our financial system is the fact that in the Constitution, the people of these United States were given the right to coin or print their own currency.
Amen!
That right was sold away in a backroom deal over the Christmas holidays in 1913 by Senator Aldrich, grandfather of the Rockefellers. And in that legislation, there is a mechanism for we, the people, to buy back our own right from these private bankers that are 50% foreign banks, starting with the Rothschilds. Yep. Everybody's got a list of it. Educate-yourself.org. The whole list of the private owners of the Federal Reserve Bank, which is not the central bank of these United States.
It's not federal.
And when the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal and even my beloved NPR this week referred to it as the central bank of these United States.
The fifth pillar of communism is the central bank.
So the solution is we want our right to print our own coin. We really need a new coin of the realm for the whole world. But we, the United States, people of the United States, should take back that right that was... Anybody wants to read about it, it's in a book called The Creature from Jekyll Island. They all assembled on Jekyll Island, Georgia. They bribed the head of the banking committee, the Senate, the head of the bank committee, the House of Representatives. Those men and their families lived like kings forever. In 1992 alone, we paid them $238 billion to lend us back our own damn money.
It is that's a farce.
That's what, right. It's more than a farce. It's the biggest lie. And I'm sorry if I get upset, but I'm not on drugs. I'm a single dad, I'm a 16-year-old, I'm 65, and it's time that the truth be known that we're living a big financial lie.
Amen!
That's what we should be focused on. Taking back our own right to print our own money. Cabal, the Rothschild. It's all there, everybody has the list of it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Remember that.
It's really this simple.
Shell game.
The Federal Reserve is no more federal than Federal Express. I could start a shoe company called Federal. I could start a skateboard company called Federal Skateboards. That doesn't mean it's actually backed or attached to the government. Granted, Obama puts in Bernanke, Bush helped kill Keith Greenspan there, but it's a private bank, owned by 6 different private banks. And that's essentially what happens. Our tax dollars go to them so they can lend the money back to us.
Hey guys, let's pay attention to the person with the football, please.
Thank you. Anyway, very simple. Once again, if I have to put it on a bumper sticker, the Federal Reserve is not federal and it has no reserves.
Thank you.
Yes.
Just throw something down. I found an interesting article on Bernie Sanders' website, and I actually found this Googling audit the Fed. But this was written the 14th. Protesters marched on Wall Street again on Friday. Senator Bernie Sanders praised the protest now in their 4th week. In Vermont, demonstrations are planned in 4 cities this weekend. The situation has reached a boiling pot because the economy is in such bad shape, Sanders said. Conservatives have branded the movement a growing mob engaged in class warfare whose grievances are far outside the mainstream. That's not how mainstream American sees the movement. A new survey for Time magazine found that 54% of Americans have a favorable impression of the protests, while just 23% have a negative impression. Do Wall Street lobbyists have too much influence in Washington? Is the gap between rich and poor in the U.S. too large? Should executives of financial institutions responsible for the financial meltdown in 2008 be prosecuted? Should the rich pay more taxes? Now there's also an interesting article. I'm going to go ahead and get it printed out and so everybody can read it. It's kind of lengthy, but it explains the some points of the federal audit that took place, and it shows $16 trillion in bank bailouts.
16 trillion.
16 trillion.
That's not 1.2 that we thought we were missing.
Not only
16.
domestic, but foreign banks as well that we've been bailing out.
American tax dollars and bailouts. Credit Suisse.
But I'll print that out if you guys want to find it. Just Google audit the Fed, and all the facts are there. So let's stay educated and on top of the facts and the stats right now.
Bernie Sanders!
Amen, Bernie.
Anybody else?
I'd just like to remind everybody that in 2008, after the economy collapsed, they speak up louder. They brought Alan Greenspan, who had been the chairman of the Federal Reserve, in front of a congressional sort of committee, and they asked him, or he said that he had been surprised to see that the entire system over which he had more or less presided from 1987 to 2006 fall apart. And he said he was surprised to see his entire, like this sort of ideological design of his entire life fall apart. And one of the senators asked him to reiterate that, and whether or not he meant that his entire ideology had been wrong, and he said yes. So Alan Greenspan, who for the second half of the 20th century helped to promote this entire corporate culture of just totally self-interested, totally irresponsible financing and leadership of the financial system.
Yes, he did.
He admitted he was wrong. He was very candid about that. And so don't let anybody try and keep pushing this idea that somehow the market's going to fix itself with less and less regulation.
The free market is not free right now either. It has been co-opted and controlled. Sorry.
I'm done.
Alright guys, I think everybody's pretty much about ready to march. Anybody else got anything to say?
If you guys want some coffee, we just got some coffee. Grab it real quick before we head out.
Make sure you guys check your meters. You guys come around on Saturdays.
She's got a job to do. Alright, so let's say everybody 5 minutes gather around the American flag and we'll head out.
That's why I want to be here at 11 to beat the moves and stuff.
Absolutely.
Just yesterday, while we were having our big march rally gather right here, right over there on the trees, the hot police were posting the ordinances. All right, there's one of them that they posted with tape right there. Those are the trees that they posted them with thumbtacks into the live trees.
Not
and
good.
I was yelling at them saying, why are you littering like that? You know they're just going to fall off.
Right.
You know, but apparently they don't care about ordinances. Unless, you know, the city's telling them to get rid of protesters.
Absolutely. I mean, that's my feeling on it. Not to mention, you don't really put nails or thumbtacks into live trees.
Yeah.
It's not, as an environmentalist, it's not a good thing to do to trees.
And you've never seen a protester here put a sign on a tree, have you?
Never. And we've never seen them pee on sidewalks either.
Yeah. Sweet. Not a slave. This is your ticket.
For
courtesy warning.
For camping on public property prohibited. They referred me to the No Hope shelter.
The New Hope shelter, dude.
No Hope shelter.
The No Hope shelter? Okay, and what were you operating at the time? Just this right here?
A nap.
Yeah, we were back here.
You were back there and...
I'd maybe just closed my eyes 7 hours before prior.
Wow.
I was here too. It was my first ticket ever.
She got one as well. There were about 8 of them given out. And I personally was arguing with the cops that didn't get my idea first. And me doing that, I think at least 3, I'm sorry, at most 3, but at least 1, crawled out of the tent and got out of the ticket. So I got a ticket, so others wouldn't have to.
And so, if you're in this same place when they come back, can you be awake? Can you be awake if they come back?
What he said, the lieutenant, I think lieutenant or sergeant, what
was said was laying down bedding is considered camping. That's where we faltered, and tonight we're just planning on staying warm by having a lot of people and just getting real close. Because we can't lay down in bedding, apparently. I'm going to.
If I could make a recommendation, body fat. It keeps me warm.
Bro, I've been trying to gain that much weight since I was 16. I haven't gained or lost more or less than 5 pounds.
Wow.
The only thing that's changed between me in 10 years in the last decade, I'm 26, since I was 16, is I got a beard. It's taken me 10 years to grow this. It's awesome.
It only took me 2 weeks to grow this one.
Don't like that. My brother had a full beard in high school, man. Chicks dug him. He always dated everybody, and they'd never talk to him.
I'm fighting for America. What are you doing? Get involved. Get informed. Get back America. What are you doing? Fight for America. Do you love your country? Then fight for it. I want to be
There's going to be more people that...
Educate yourself!
Morning. They did issue warning tickets. We're not going anywhere. We're staying right where we're at.
That's right.
We have
We
no
might go to
idea
jail.
what to expect from here on out. We've had 8 people that have been warned. We don't know because I don't think they know as far as what the next step is for us. I wish we knew because we've gotten so many different stories. Every time we talk to a police officer or we talk to, when we went down and spoke to them, to talking to the HOT team, everybody has told us that something different. People are telling us, in the beginning the easy ups were okay. HOT team yesterday was telling us that they have to go because they're considered camping. Now CSPD this morning is telling us after 11 p.m. that we are trespassing right there because that is part of the park property. I'm pretty sure that's public sidewalk in my opinion, but we've got some people that are going to go to regional tomorrow and they're going to pull the plans so we can see where boundaries are and what they're calling what. So we have a little more room to stand on. We do have 3 attorneys. I do not know the names off the top of my head, but they will begin working together tomorrow and seeing what we can do. City council, if they want to fight this and the city wants to fight this in the end, they'll probably lose their camping ordinance also because the HOT team yesterday was very proud of not ticketing anybody in 3 years. The reason they haven't ticketed anybody in 3 years is because they will have a civil rights case on their hand like nobody's business if they do because it is against the law. So I think at this point, we're going to stand here and we're going to make our stand. We're going to continue to educate and we will continue to occupy here. If we get kicked out, we'll be back the next day.
Real quick.
Yes.
This was from the officers from HOT team just told 2 reporters from the Gazette there's going to be no citations.
Officers from HOT team say no citations at Acacia Park for Occupy Colorado Springs. Just warnings at the Gazette reporter just learned. Yeah, no, they didn't give us any citations.
That for tonight too?
I don't probably
That's what I was
not.
wondering.
No,
Are
I
they
think
saying...
they're talking about last night or this morning. All they gave was warnings. They didn't give citations or tickets yet. It was just warning tickets.
They did written, it wasn't just
It was
verbal?
written,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, it was written.
They had written warnings. Yeah, there was 8 of them that were issued.
Yes. But not everybody got them. It was only the people that were actually sleeping.
Yeah.
Except for my kids, only I got the ticket.
Well, right, yeah, unless they're 11 years old in the state of Colorado, they can't be given a ticket.
Yeah. So, guys, we're going to fight this, but we still need to keep moving and continuing forward. We need to keep educating people, talking about this, spreading the word, because we need that other 98% of the 99% to step up and realize what's going on. Because 99% to 1%, that's pretty dang good odds. We just got to get them to wake up. So keep educating, make sure you keep sharing, talking to people all the time. Standing in line at the grocery store, anything of the sort, try to bring up conversation. Don't be nasty. Don't be hateful. You know, make sure you stay peaceful and respectful. If they look like they're not going to back down and they're getting mean and nasty, okay, I'm sorry. Step away, okay? It's just that easy. If we have people running through here, screaming and hollering and cussing at us, don't acknowledge them. Because if you acknowledge them, then you're offering confrontation. If you don't acknowledge them, eventually they're just going to wander off because they're not getting the attention they want. So please make sure you guys are always respectful, no profanity. Keep your discussions and your topics when you're around the tents to business. As far as eyes are on us, guys. Tonight we were on the news, or we were on the radio in New York. The New York Wall Street protest. Listen to us chant tonight. They chanted, we chanted. They're here. They're blown away. We're here. So we have major support. We've got to continue keep pushing here. We're making an impact here. That's exactly what the news said. In New York, we're making an impact in Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
So keep educating. Make sure you keep talking to people. Make sure you guys keep the areas clean. Water bottles, coffee cups, whatever. Put your name on it so we're not creating a lot of trash. Make sure you keep track of them. Keep your cigarette butts picked up. If you're walking in from the other side of the park and you see some trash, pick it up. We're here to clean up the community too. We do a trash run, usually have a couple crews a night that go through and we clean up trash in the park. This Saturday we are going to do sweep the system, clean the streets. We are going to march and we are going to clean the streets. We are going to have our trash bags, gloves, trash pickers. We're gonna show the community that we're here for them. We're out here and we're trying to clean it up. Not only clean up the system, but we want to clean the streets up. We want to be represented. So we're gonna do that for Saturday. I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. Denver is getting pounded up there right now. Pounded. So I was trying to decide on something that I wanted to bring to you guys. I think Wednesday night we should do a candlelight vigil here as far as for support of Occupy Denver. We're standing in support of them that night. We're remembering the people that have already gone to jail, the people that sat in Broadway and stopped traffic and letting them know, hey, we're here guys, we're not going anywhere. So if that would be okay with all of you guys, I think the candlelight vigil, I mean, even if it's just glow sticks, we'll get the glow sticks and have it for everybody, but I think just like a sit down powwow, maybe everybody can bring a little bit of knowledge and we can sit down and talk and, you know, just different things that night.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye. All
Well,
not
then
in
we'll
favor?
plan on that for Wednesday night. I'll get an event out for that tonight also. So that way, make sure you spread the word. Everybody come out Wednesday night and we'll do a candlelight vigil in support of Occupy Denver. So, beyond that, flyers. If you guys can make even 10 copies of flyers, or even printing any information, fact information off of the computer, bring it down here. We can get somebody to get us copies. We need plenty of information for the information booth. They're stopping by like crazy. We've been out here for so long now, they're going, wow, well maybe they do have a point. Let's go stop and see what they're talking about.
We do have a point.
So, yes, we do. We do have a point. And people are learning that and they're waking up and they're understanding why we're here and that we're not a joke. We haven't gone anywhere in 17 days, guys. We've been visible for 17 days. They're reading our signs. They're starting to acknowledge us. So it's great to see that. Even some of the soldiers last night, I mean, very positive soldiers. There was a couple negative ones, don't get me wrong, but a lot of them, I think towards the end, when they realized what we were standing out here for, they were at least willing to go home and educate themselves. I did have one comment that I wanted to share with everybody, and always keep it on the back of your mind. No matter what's going on out here, one of the soldiers told me, or told us, the last words out of his mouth was, bring me home, guys, bring us home. Bring us home. So keep that in the back of your head at all times. You know, it'll give you strength, because last night it made me cry. That's about all I have.
We are a public company. We have no rights to tell them things.
Sit on the corner of
Yeah, because they're intoxicated. Yeah. Okay. They'll remove it. They'll remove it.
We're here in support of Occupy Wall Street.
Cops gave you guys a visit this morning and told you if you had tents that you would get citations and eventually arrested.
Yeah, we had written warnings given for the tents according to the camping ordinance. I believe the issue is that we have some kind of 48-hour warning to remove the tents. I believe there's also civil rights problem with the constitutionality of the camping ordinance. So we'll see how it plays out.
Right now, I mean, are these tents behind us? Those count as against the city ordinance?
Well, last time I talked to an officer, he told me that those would be fine because they were protecting our information and keeping the stuff dry that we need to keep dry. So that's why I'm confused because it's gone back and forth so many times that it doesn't make sense. And so I mean, we need to make sense of this. And that's where we're at, I guess.
So you're hearing these ones are okay, just not okay to set up tents in there?
That's what I've been told. I've been told by the officer on Monday morning that these ones are fine, don't set up the tents. Then we were told by the city council that set up the tents at night and take them down during the day, which is what we've been doing. And which makes sense to me, it's perfectly reasonable. So now we've been told that you can't have the tents. I'm not sure about these, so it's gone back and forth so many times. Cops have said so many different, I mean, it's not a consistent story, so
See how things go?
yeah, let's see how it rolls out.
Are you guys worried you're going to be arrested like Denver protesters?
No, I mean, there's no worry of being arrested. We're here, doing our duty as Americans and expressing our First Amendment rights. And there's not really anything illegal going on here, so the camping ordinance is the issue that everyone's talking about here, but there's a bigger issue here is what's going on globally and economically. Things are not all right economically, and if you need to find out the truth, talk to an economist. Talk to somebody that knows what's really going on, not to your neighbor or somebody that is just listening to TV or listening to somebody give a speech about raw Americans to make us fire. We need to wake up and see that this is a worldwide problem. They've been protesting for months in Spain. They've been protesting for months in other parts of the world. And this is a response to that. People don't see how these things are related, and it's just going to be a longer process. But I think that people are smart generally, and people are educated generally, and people will see what's really happening around the world and see that we can actually.
My daughter was always doing she had perfect hair in school where
if you don't know what's going on and you're not sure on the issues, get on Occupy Wall Street. It's st.org. Check out what's going on. Read some of the literature. And get on occupytogether.org and see what's going on around the world. It'll bounce you around and see all the different countries and all the different cities. There's over 1,950 cities that are having this sort of thing happen, but on a much bigger scale in the bigger cities, of course. Check it out. I mean, if you didn't see the news this weekend, what's happening in Rome and London and around the world, then you might want to check it out.
I think that's all we need. Thank you so much.
You're so sweet.